What's up, all of you crazy, beautiful, creative people? Welcome back to another episode of Creative Motivation, where I give you the most practical advice possible to staying on track in your creative quests, keeping you out of the rut, and allowing you to make art in a world that needs it now more than ever. Today's episode is called Stop Being Mean to Yourself. You know that I know that you know what I'm talking about. When you're developing art and you're being creative, it's very easy to fall into a rut where you lose the belief that you can actually do it. And then what happens? Well, you're not going to produce because your state of mind is so off kilter because you've lost whatever belief you had in yourself when you initially started. If you're a musician, you fell in love with music, you might have had an idol that you kind of modeled yourself after, and you're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all the way, this is gonna be my career. And whether you thought you were gonna be filling arenas or just having a modest career in it that allowed you to pay your bills, you believed in it at first. So you started practicing, you bought the gear, you bought the instruments, you did all the things, and now maybe it's 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years in, and we all go through those periods where we start to question ourselves. Maybe you're going through a slump. Maybe the money isn't really there right now and you're feeling pressure from a lover or your family or your parents or any other kind of peers to make something happen. Oh, and that can definitely pull the mojo out of your soul. It can take the wind out of your sails. So my message here today is very simple and it's very clear. Stop being mean to yourself. Maybe you're judging the art that you've been creating lately. Maybe you're judging your business model. I think it's good to analyze what you're doing. I think it's good to have a keen eye and to know what you're looking for and to be somewhat picky about what you put out there as your product. I think that's ultimately what separates the professionals from the amateurs, is knowing exactly what it is you're looking for. But like with anything in life, you can take that too far. You can analyze it and overthink it so much that you put yourself in a state of stillness where you're then not getting anything done because you're too mean to yourself. Another thing we're all guilty of is comparing ourselves to other artists. I think it's very important to have peers and to have role models and to look at someone and admire their work. But by no means should you use that as a yardstick for your own success and growth. Again, a little bit of competition goes a long way. If you're a drummer and you go out to a live show and you watch another drummer just kill it, just murder that stage that night, and you start to think to yourself, man, I gotta go home and practice. That's what you should think. That's the inspiration of yes, man, that was so awesome. I wanna go home and do that. But don't let it kill you. Don't let it kill your motivation. Because here's the thing. No matter what it is you're creating, you are the only you ever in the history of ever. So no matter how many guitarists there may be, no matter how many drummers or painters or yoga instructors, no matter how many 5-star chefs might be in your metropolitan area, you are the only you. I always go by the 80-20 rule, right? So 20% is going to be your skill set. What are you good at? Are you proficient at drums? Can you keep time? Do you have a good sense of dynamics and volume? Well, that's great. Now the other 80% is going to be your personality. How easy are you to work with? Are you flexible? Are you punctual? Are you on time? Are you able to take a joke? Are you cool with a little bit of dark humor like most of us artists are? That's going to be 80% of your success. So if you're hyper-focused on the details and the technicalities of what it is you're doing, you got to remind yourself it's only 20%. The other 80% is who you are. Let's take Bob Dylan for an example. One of the most influential songwriters, I don't know, in the history of ever. Was he a great guitar player? No. Was he a great harmonica player? No. Was he a great singer? No. But did he have the charisma and the personality Did he have the songwriting skills? Yeah, absolutely. But whatever skill set he had, again, was only 20%. The rest of it was his vibe, his mojo, his personality, how he talked to the interviewers, how he interacted with fans and other musicians. That's the legacy of Bob Dylan, right? Think about Bob Ross. I remember the first time I saw Bob Ross turn these smudges and sponge marks into a beautiful mountain landscape, and my mind just like blew wide open. I'm like, damn, Bob, that looks good. How did you know how to do that? But at the end of the day, is it Bob Ross's talent that you're there for to watch? Or is it just this beautiful, calming presence throughout the entire show? Well, of course, it's a mixture of the both, but I would venture to say that it's 20-80. 80% of it is just, he's Bob Ross. What more do you need to say? The other 20%, yes, is the technicality and watching him turn random brush strokes and sponge dabs into some crazy landscape. Okay, yeah, that's great, but now how many people can do that? Quite a few. How many of them are Bob Ross? Just one. So you have to go easy on yourself. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there's something called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And a big focus of NLP is self-talk. How much negative self-talk do you have, right? What do you say to yourself? How do you talk to yourself? Now, I'll take this moment here to say that if you have not seen my previous video called Time to Suck, I'm gonna put a link to it right up here, and I want you to watch it, because no matter where you're at in your skill development, you have to remember that you have to give yourself time to learn, time to suck, and get better. You're never going to hit a plateau of mastery. True mastery comes from enjoying the journey of getting better. Meeting a challenge, overcoming the challenge. Meeting a new challenge, overcoming that challenge. So don't let your skill sets bring you down. Don't overthink them. Don't question them. Develop a discipline that you can use every single day. That way you can trust the process. You're not gonna go to the gym and work out for a week and be like, well, there it is. I guess I'm never gonna have pecs. No, you have to give yourself that time. But if you're on a fitness routine, if you're on a disciplined regimen, you're watching your food, you're hitting the gym, well, then you don't really have anything to worry about. You can trust that process and it's gonna work. And the creative arts are no different. You have to be nice to yourself. Because especially in the beginning, you're the only person who's gonna care about your art, especially as much as you do, right? So if you've been struggling with believing in yourself, self-confidence, develop a disciplined routine. That's my advice, because then you can trust that as long as I follow this routine, I am going to get better. And that takes that pressure off of it. Then you can focus on the real meat and potatoes, which is that 80% you. You are the only you that there is ever going to be, and that's the beautiful part about making art. So maybe you're in a country band in Nashville. Yeah, one of like 1,500 in a 1 square mile radius, right? But what's gonna separate you from everybody else? Your personality. That's what people are gonna remember. If you've ever met anybody famous and you go back to your family and be like, oh, I met so-and-so, you're gonna be like, yeah, it was an awesome show, or it was an awesome Broadway performance, or it was a great yoga class. But what's the next thing they're gonna say? And when I met them, they were so cool. They were so kind. We laughed, they made a funny joke, and then we left. And I left feeling better having been in their presence. As a creative person, that's your job, is to change people's state of being, to make them think about something, make them feel something. And a large part of that comes from the human in you, the personality. Your skill sets are 20% of it, because you don't have to be the best of the best of the best with honors, sir, to make an impact on somebody. As a matter of fact, I would say it's quite the opposite. You don't really need these high-level bougie skills. You just need to be a good, personable person. Trustworthy, dependable, funny, charismatic, whatever it is that vibes with your personality, that's gonna be what drives you. And if you're hyper focused on all these small technical things, oh, I'm not good at speaking, I can't play the guitar as fast as this person, I can't hit the same notes as Whitney Houston or Ella Fitzgerald. Well, so who are you? How do you feel when you sing? How are you emoting? What kind of emotion are you putting into your architecture or your food or your paintings, right? That's what comes through, and that's 80% you. So I want to keep this video short today. I wanted to be straightforward and to the point. Stop being mean to yourself. You have to be kind. Why? Because it's going to elevate your mood day in and day out. You're going to feel better about the art that you're making if you're kind and patient with yourself. And the best advice I have for that, have a routine that you can trust. Every day, at the same time, you're going to practice what it is you do. And you can trust that it's going to take you where you want to go. You don't have to question it. So you trust that your skill sets are going to grow. Then you can focus on just being the beautiful, badass person that you are. Once again, thanks for watching. This has been Creative Motivation. I'm going to be making videos on the regular. I don't know if they'll be daily, but when I feel the inspiration and I feel like there's something I want to communicate with you guys, something that maybe resonated with me, I'm going to share it. The next video is going to be called Finding Inspiration When You're in a Funk, because I know we've all dealt with that. So keep an eye out for that. I love you. I mean it. I love you. Be kind to yourself. Get out there and make some art. Toodles.